Shalom, Israel. I hope everyone had a great weekend. I hope everyone has a great day and a great week. The Most High put this on my heart to make this video today, and it's long past due because a lot of us have the inclusion delusion. We have an inclusion delusion. A lot of us think the people that the Most High is using to punish us, that He placed over us, He gave them power to be over us, and He placed them over us. A lot of us think the people that the Most High has placed over us to punish us is going to include us and treat us fairly in their society, in their kingdom, when it's our captivity and our punishment. So we have an inclusion delusion. Now, the Most High says He severed us from everyone. When He separated the sons of Adam, He set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. So He separated us. But a lot of us don't want to be separated and holy to the Most High, like He says in Deuteronomy 7:6, for thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people above all people on the face of the earth. A lot of us don't want to know that, don't want to believe that because we don't know who we really are. So we have an inclusion delusion. We think, like I said, the nations, races of the world that the Most High placed over us are going to include us fairly and treat us fairly. So a lot of us would do everything we can to be included or get a little piece of what the oppressor, the captors, is given. Not understanding that you'll never be included. We'll never be included fairly as a whole. Yeah, a couple of us, because you got to keep division amongst us. So you got to give some of us some things and make us think it ain't enough for everybody. But you special. You special. You more special than the rest of them. So look down on them. Don't deal with them. Not understanding that we all in the same situation because we don't understand what this is. First of all, the nations and the one particular nation, they call them racists now, but the one particular nation that the Most High placed over us, they'll never include us fairly as a whole because that's not their job. They're the belt. The Most High is using them as a belt to whoop us. But a lot of us don't really know who we are. We don't. See, the Most High calls different races of people, He calls them nations of people. That's how the Most High categorizes everybody in the world, by nations. But the nations are not categorizing everybody by races, because to them, it's a race. It's a competition. But most of us Negroes, who are really Hebrews, who are really Israelites, don't understand that it's a race and it's a competition. Most High calls the different categories, the different nations, the nations call them races, because to them, it's a race. But a lot of us don't really know who we really are. So we fall for the trick, and we continue to fall for the trick. I tell people, man, we call ourselves African American. The term African American didn't come around until the 1980s or something, mid-1980s. And they got Jesse Jackson and some of those other black leaders to coin it, to place that on all of us. Well, my birth certificate in 1973, it didn't have African American on there. I was just black, which I'm not black, but that's another byword, but we don't know who we are because the Most High said we were going to be bywords. So we call ourselves African American, a label that somebody else gave us, and we embrace it. We're like, oh, okay, yeah, that's who I am, and we say it proud. When you have you have a white person born in Africa who lives in America now, they're more African American than me. They're the majority of us, but they don't call themselves African American. Well, that's where they were born. They were born there. We weren't even born there. But we proudly call ourselves African American because the Most High said we were going to be bywords. People tell us who we are and we take it. Then we have people like me who be like, no, man, you got to do some reading and some research That ain't who we truly are. No, I'm proud African American, really? Well, what was my daddy then? Because that wasn't on his birth certificate. That term wasn't around. Well, what was I when I was born? Oh, black and I'm proud. I'm not black. Name me the country. Show me the country black. Show me. The Most High don't call them people black, white, yellow. He don't call people that. He call them nations of people. So how am I black when my beard is somewhat black? I'm brown. I'm copper color. I'm burnished brass. I'm tawny. How? But a lot of us don't know that because a lot of us don't know who we truly are. So that's why I said we have the inclusion delusion. The Most High said this is our punishment. Regardless of what you believe, this is our punishment. We could talk about the curses of Deuteronomy, but yeah, there's other signs and scriptures in there who proves who we truly are. Now the world is waking up to who we truly are, but a lot of us not. But that's okay because the Most High says he's not going to give everybody understanding. That's why I say most of us still have the inclusion delusion. They give some of us some things. Forget about the rest of them. Here you go. Good job. Here you go. Not understanding this was all ours to begin with. It was taken from us. This land, say what you want to say. You don't have to do anything but research. We are the indigenous people of the land. I have a census report from 1790 to 1860. They only had 2 categories, black and white. They got the numbers flipped. Like we were the minority, but now we've always been the majority. I don't care what they say. Quit telling it. We got to quit going by what they're telling us and read and research for ourselves. 2 categories, white and black. Native American popped up in 1860 because this land wasn't called America. It had another name. So yeah, you can be Native American for a term that was just coined and made. But what about the indigenous people of the land? Indian, indigenous, they kind of go together because the Israelites populated a lot of these lands that we think we ain't indigenous to because, our history was taken. Our heritage was taken. But all you got to do is read and research. There's so many pyramids, they call them mounds. There's so many pyramids in America. Egyptian artifacts, treasures in America that's older than what they found over there in the actual, they call it the actual Egypt. But we will know that. We had these massive, beautiful kingdoms and cities already set up with irrigation and indoor plumbing and electricity, all these things. We already had it going. Not just here, all across the world, but the Most High took it from us. But if a lot of us don't know who we truly are, we don't even know what the hell is going on. And this is scripture. The Most High said, no, y'all my people. I'm only giving y'all the commandments. Israelites, Psalm 147 and 19. So y'all gonna be the only ones who get whooped for breaking them. Amos 3 and 1 and 3 and 2. That's why Proverbs 3 and 31, it says, envy thou not thy oppressor and choose none of his ways. Because, no, we ain't supposed to be doing what they do. You can't be included in jail. When you read up on the Babylonian and the Babylonian and the Persian captivities, their captivities were the same way. They let the captives have houses, jobs, made them think they had land. Own land, make them think they own houses, had property when they really didn't, just like now. We can have a house. It can be a $3 million house, beautiful house, $200,000 house, whatever. It could be paid for. You could have the deed. It's yours, but you don't own the land. They don't let us own the land. So guess what? If you don't own the land, you don't own the house. But we have an inclusion delusion. Like people who've been placed over us who want to stay in rulership, you think they're actually going to be fair and treat us fairly? No. Why would they do that? That would be crazy. Treat us fairly Let us, a lot of us come up, then bring others of us up. You lose rulership like that. You lose control that way. That they'll never do that because they're not the ones who gave themselves that power and this status. The Most High did it. He gave it to them because he took it from us because we hard-headed, because we don't want to worship him only. We don't want to do what he says do. He says the earth is given over into the hand of the wicked. Israelites, don't y'all do nothing that the world does, but what we do everything the world does. The Most High says something is an abomination, don't do that. We be like, nah, that's cool. We're gonna all hold hands. We all one. The Most High said, no, that's not the case. Everybody's not the same. That's why everybody looks different. That's why everybody can do different things. This ain't got nothing to do with racism. This is the truth. This facts. You can go look in the mirror. But what we said, no, you want to be included in something that you'll never be totally included in, and you have sellouts. They sell us out. So now, real quickly, because I want to keep this under 15 minutes so I can put it on Instagram. Now, you have us with this shot, pointing the finger at other Israelites who don't want it because it's poison. And we really think people who have been studying how to kill us off forever is trying to help keep us alive now. That's madness. It's not happening. And I keep telling you, nothing is free now. They don't give anything for free. They don't pay you to take something or to give you something that costs them money to get. If something is too good to be true, you got to believe it. But my problem is we got other Negroes who points the finger at people that be like, come on, man, you got to think twice now. That shot has poison in it. And the ingredients tell you that it's poison. But a lot of us don't take time to look up the ingredients. They be like, well, you don't look up all the ingredients in the food, which is true. But when these people telling you and it's right in your face that it's poison, and you try to shame your brother, I'm telling you now, so-called black people, when you pointing the fingers at your brothers and sisters and trying to mock them and link up with the world to be like, why y'all ain't getting the shot? Why y'all gonna do this? And the one said, well, you can't, I'm gonna lose my job if I don't get the shot. Well, I ain't gonna be able to do this or be able to do that. Man, the Most High controls everything. You think Elijah was worried about that when the Most High told him to get gone, go to the woods? Elijah was worried about what he was going to eat. He's like, what I'm going to eat? The Most High had ravens bring him food. He provides if you trust him and stay loyal to him. During the Exodus, the Israelites wanted food. They were complaining. The Most High made manna come up on the wet earth for them to eat, and it tasted like cake. He fed them. They didn't have to worry about what they was going to eat. They needed water. What Moses do? Struck the rock. Moses, I told him to just talk to the rock. Struck the rock. He made water come from a rock. They was complaining about meat. They wanted meat. So Most I said, okay, tell them tomorrow I'm going to bring so many quails that's going to smash a lot of them in the face and break their teeth, since they want to complain and don't trust in me. They didn't have no, they left. They didn't have no food and water. But the Most High made sure they had money, because he made the Egyptians give them gold and money before they left. And he fed them because they trusted in him. Now, some of them didn't trust in him, and they got killed and they got destroyed. A lot of them wanted to go back to Egypt, where they was happy in captivity. But he killed them. That's why most of the older people who was in captivity in Egypt, the Most High didn't allow them to make it to the promised land. That's why we ended up having to walk for 40 years, because he had to kill all those old dudes off, those old people off with those old slave-ass mentalities. But I'm just saying, man, we have the inclusion delusion. You turn your back on the Most High. You turn your back on your people, and you point the finger at your own people who be like, I ain't getting that poison, man. I'm just going to trust the Most High, what you supposed to. Because he's separating the wheat from the tares. We are in that season of restoration and judgment, and he's sifting. So y'all ain't got to trust him, but you better quit pointing at your brothers and sisters and trying to shame them and mock them, and you jumping with the oppressors when all that shit is designed to try to kill us, because everybody's DNA isn't the same. Shalom.